Welcome to another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV, and today we're talking about one very specific flowerhorn that we have here at OSA Wakefield. Let's talk about that. Salty Alley here today, and we're talking about a really awesome flowerhorn cichlid that I have here at the Wakefield location. So first we'll talk about what is a flowerhorn. A flowerhorn cichlid is a man-made fish. We actually created this fish in the early 1990s in Southeast Asia by breeding 3 different cichlids together. They actually used the Midas cichlid, Trimac cichlid or Trimaculatum, and they used a blood parrot cichlid, which actually a blood parrot is also a hybrid fish made with a vieja and a red devil. The people of Southeast Asia were looking for a fish with a large nuchal hump, or that big hump on their head, because they believe that it brings good fortune. So they get the name flower because they get these really pretty patterns on their side that they thought resembled flowers, and then they get the horn from the big nuchal hump on their head, so you get the name flowerhorn cichlid. There's 5 different varieties out there that come in all different colors, and here at OSA Wakefield we have one really beautiful, unique flowerhorn. He's all pink and white. In flowerhorns, only the males get a big nuchal hump on their head. The females will look like a regular cichlid without that big hump. Sometimes they'll get a small one, but nothing like the males do. In Asian cultures, they try to get the biggest nuchal hump on them as possible. This one here that we have right now is still pretty small, but as he gets larger, it will grow, and if you give them the proper diet, that will help as well. Flowerhorn cichlids get extremely large. They can get anywhere from 14 to 16 inches, so that's massive. They really should be in a minimum tank size of 120 gallons. Sometimes you'll see some opinions online, some will say 75, but a 16-inch fish really should be in a minimum of a 120 gallon. Ideally, a 6-foot tank would be better, so like a 125 or even 150. The one problem with this is flowerhorns are extremely aggressive, and they're very hard to mix with other fish. So sometimes, most times, they're kept alone. The biggest reason for that is 1, their aggression, and 2, these fish are very prized for their coloration and their big nuchal hump, and sometimes people don't want to risk them getting injured by other fish in a fight, so they'll often choose to keep them alone. If you get them small, there's some chance you could mix them with other larger aggressive cichlids and let them grow up together. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, so you have to be prepared for it not to work. Flowerhorns are super popular nowadays because they are very personable. They're like a puppy dog in a tank. This guy here, I've come to really love him because he's super personable. Every time I come up to the tank, he chases my hand around and he's just ready for food. He's super fun to interact with, so I really like him, and I think you guys would enjoy him too. Another thing with flowerhorn cichlids is a lot of people also will keep them in very bare tanks because, again, they don't want to injure their big nuchal hump. So keeping them with things like sharp branches with driftwood sometimes can pose a threat to them because they're very clumsy and active, and sometimes they can hurt themselves on the wood. So keeping them with nice big smooth stones and some artificial plants will work well, but like I said, a lot of people will keep them in just a bare aquarium with just sand substrate. Make sure you provide good filtration for this fish because they're large and they produce a lot of waste, so doing nice big canister filters would be ideal, or especially doing a sump filter on an aquarium would be the best option. So flowerhorn cichlids are not cheap fish. They, like I said before, they can cost quite a lot of money. So some of them, especially in Southeastern Asian countries, these fish can fetch upwards of $600,000. That's right, I said 600,000. This guy is not nearly that much, but he's a little bit on the pricier end for sure. These fish are really cool though, and they're totally worth that because, like I said, he's like a puppy dog. He's really fun to kind of interact with, and he's super smart and just really fun to watch. As far as water parameters go, these fish aren't super picky. They can really handle pretty much anything as far as pH temperature. They do prefer a nice heated tank around 78 to 80 degrees, and a nice neutral pH is fine for them. Be sure to keep the tank clean though. They don't like having high nitrates in the aquarium, so making sure, like I had said before, having good filtration and keeping up in your water changes is really important on keeping that color and that good nuchal hump. As far as food goes, these guys will really eat anything. He's not very picky. He really will eat any pellets I offer and frozen food. Right now I feed him the OSA Color Enhanced Bites, and he absolutely loves them, and it'll help bring that pink-red coloration out really well. These fish sometimes can jump as well, so we want to make sure you have them in a tank with a nice sealed lid so that they can't get out. Flowerhorns that do have a very long lifespan, so you want to make sure you're considering this when you get one for yourself. They live anywhere from 11 to 12 years, so they're a nice long commitment. Well, that about sums it up about flowerhorn cichlids, and you guys definitely have to come on in and check them out. We have one at all 3 locations, so if you're interested, come on in, check them out, and meet this little guy. He's super fun and interactive, and you guys will love him. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV with me, Salty Alley. And you know what to do. Keep it fresh, baby.